All right, Matt Hall, Grant Flanders, back again from K-StateOnline, here to talk about a big win for the K-State Wildcats over Creighton in the first round of the tournament. First, I want to get your overall thoughts on how the Cats played on both ends of the floor, obviously holding Creighton to 59 points and putting up 69 themselves. What do you have to say?
Defensively, probably K-State's best effort of the year. I haven't had the time to settle in and look at all of it yet, but I have to assume it was. Creighton's one of the best offensive teams in the country on a points per possession basis. They're super efficient. They had a really hard time scoring against K-State tonight. I thought K-State defended well, spots 1 through 5. So that's my first thought about that. And then offensively, K-State made a lot of really timely shots tonight. I could try to rattle them off, but Cam early hitting a few shots that made a big difference. The 3 at the end of the shot clock from Cartier-Jard in the first half when K-State really needed it. Mike McGurl before halftime, Mike McGurl in the second half. It felt like every time K-State needed a big shot, they hit it. So the offense was good enough for darn sure, but with the defensive effort that they got, that would be the difference in the game in my opinion.
And let's start with the guy that really started off for K-State and turned it around as prior games he struggled. Cam Stokes really turning it on. What do you have to say about how this will help him?
Yeah, I think if you're a K-State fan, you have to feel really good for Cam Stokes. Tough situation. We talked about it, Grant, before we started the game tonight, that he sees his junior peers and Dean Wade and Barry Brown to kind of become stars while he's battling injury and to be blunt, not playing very well. So for him to be the guy that comes out tonight, and I believe it's the first 3 shots of the game, puts K-State up 7-0 if I remember correctly, was great for him. And we talk about defense, I think where Cam Stokes gets a lot of criticism, sometimes deservedly so, for sure. But tonight he was pretty good. Like I said, everyone defended well tonight for K-State. So for Cam to come out, I want to say his line was like 11 points, maybe 3 or 4 assists, maybe 1 turnover, 4 boards. Played a really good game for K-State. So you have to feel great for that guy this evening.
Yeah, and obviously Dean Wade, and we were saying how Barry's going to have to step up, and he sure did that on the defensive end and on the offensive end. Talk about his play.
Yeah, he was tremendous. You talk about him all the time being a guy who in the second half has to close games for K-State, and he did a lot of that tonight. Mike McGurl did too, for sure, but Marcus Foster's an excellent player, and we can talk about him in a second. I have so much respect for Marcus Foster, but Barry made things really, really hard on him, talked about the preparation they put in, prior to the game, that he had a pretty good sense of what they were running and where the plays were going. He could cheat a little bit and get in front of cuts on Marcus Foster. He was great, and then still had the energy on offense. We just talked about guys making timely shots. He did too. You pointed out a jumper he hit late in the game from the top of the shot clock. So another really good all-around game for Barry Brown tonight, where I thought he'd have a tough time having to be guarded by Kyrie Thomas, who was everything we thought he'd be as a defensive player, and then having to guard Marcus on the other end. That's a lot to ask of a guy, but he did both things tonight.
Before we move on to the Creighton side of things, let's talk about Mike McGurl and his job. 17 points, no turnovers. Has he solidified a spot, a role on this team, minutes the rest of the way?
I guess he has to. I mean, he's been such a revelation. He played so well against Kansas. He didn't have the numbers like he had tonight, but he played 21 minutes, didn't turn it over, was good on defense, good on rebounding, and then tonight just no fear. He comes out and takes the first 3 of the game that he gets in rhythm, misses it, but had a lot of confidence. Of course, the buzzer beater before halftime was huge. He gets fouled on a 3 in a corner that was huge, hits another 3. He was K-State's best player tonight. I think he played 21 minutes, had 17 points, and was good on both ends. He's going to be a factor going forward. The story will still kind of be Dean Wade, although I think we're getting a better sense of what they won't have from Dean Wade, at least this week in this tournament. But he will be a factor the rest of the way, whether that's one more game or who knows how many more for K-State as this tournament rolls on.
And then one more guy for K-State, X. Hit a couple of threes, something he's been missing lately. What do you have to say about his game?
I thought he had an interesting, uneven night. He had a couple of huge threes for K-State. Back-to-back when they really needed him. He had a great dunk on an alley-oop. And at the same time, when he missed tonight, he missed. He had a free throw he about airballed when he had a 1-and-1 late in the game. He had a couple shots that weren't close. I wouldn't say he's on yet because the misses were so bad, but another guy who made very timely shots, played well defensively, was great defensively, good on the boards, had a really, really good game, and K-State was thrilled to see him make some shots tonight because K-State really needs that from him going forward.
Now let's move on to the Creighton side of things. You said you want to talk about Marcus Foster. Talk about his maturity in this game, even though he really struggled from the field.
I was incredibly impressed with Marcus Foster. Everyone saw it, I'm sure, on TV, but moment right in front of me, fortunately, I was able to see it, where he had the presence of mind, knowing his career was over, his team was going to lose, to the team he transferred from, and he made the effort to go to Bruce Weber and embrace him and tell him thank you. And I just was, I hate to say shocked because that suggests I didn't think he would do it, but I'm surprised any kid would have that presence of mind in that situation with what he was dealing with. Then he went over to sideline in tears with Coach McDermott and that kind of stuff. So he proved to K-State fans tonight that he's come every bit as far as a person as his coach said he has, and just super, super impressed with him. He struggled tonight, but, he had a good defender on him, and it was an emotional game for him. We said all along kind of off camera that this will be harder for him than it was for K-State. and it turned out being that way tonight.
And how do you think Creighton moves on after they're eliminated? How do you see their future?
I think they're a great program. I think Craig McDermott does a great job. I think they have a great future. And, of course, Foster was a big part for them. But they have a lot of pieces. They're a very, very skilled team, and they're going to be good for a long time because they're well coached. But it's it for them as K-State moves on to the second round.
Yeah, K-State moves on. Right now, as we're recording this, Virginia is playing. But let's talk about, assuming they win, what problems they could pose for this Wildcat team.
Totally different matchup than Creighton. Something we talked about coming into the tournament. Again, assuming they're going to win this game, I don't know what the score is right now, but I imagine they're going to be safe. 16 has never beat a 1, so unless history is happening as we speak, I think we're going to be okay. A defensive juggernaut. I mean, we go from playing Creighton, who's maybe the best offense in the country from an efficiency standpoint, to the best defense in college basketball. A very different kind of game. In a way, we talked about this as we came into this on the KSO show. I kind of like this matchup more for K-State because I think K-State's comfortable playing this style of game. As we saw tonight, they made this a grinder and played well. But Virginia is the #1 overall seed in this tournament. They're a great basketball team. It will be a tremendous challenge for K-State, but not an insurmountable one. Yeah. They don't score a ton of points. It's a game K-State can stay around in. They are down a player who's the 6th man of the year in the ACC. It'll be an exciting day here Sunday in Charlotte.
Yeah, we talk about Virginia's defense. K-State has a great defense, too. Do they even compare, though?
No. I mean, and they're going to be mad if they hear this, and that's not to knock K-State's defense. I heard Bruce Weber walking in the locker room tonight yelling best defense in the country or something like that. So maybe I'm wrong, And I'll tell you what, Virginia's not going to do a better job against Creighton than K-State did if they played that game. But Virginia has been the best defense in college basketball all year long. K-State's a very good defense. They were a great defense tonight. Yeah. If K-State plays like this tonight defensively, they will absolutely be in it. But I don't want to disrespect K-State, but Virginia is an elite defense and has been all year. It'll be a really unique challenge for K-State.
Okay, guys, we have some great stuff from the locker room as well as some highlights from the game. Be sure to stick around and watch that. For Matt Hall, I'm Grant Flanders from K-StateOnline. Thanks for watching, and
tell your friends.
He already put his earrings in?
Yeah, Mike, the earrings?
Oh, sorry, Mike.
You're a superstar now, Mike. Everybody go to Mike. Go to Mike. That's my test,
What was clicking for you out there?
I mean, everything sort of. It was really our defense that led to all our offense, and we trusted the game plan, and that's what really went right for us.
Did you ever imagine something like this when you decided to redshirt like 6 months ago?
I mean, it was always something that was like a hope in the back of my head, just like a dream, and sort of like a dream come true.
How's it feel now?
It feels good, but I mean, we're not content yet. We're not done.
Did you have a feeling going into this one that you'd get significant minutes?
I mean, I was ready for the minutes that they put me in because I just wanted to play, and they put me in, so I was ready.
What's the season been like for you? It's been kind of a roller coaster ride, I'm sure.
I mean, yeah, it's been a real up and down for me, but great coaching staff, great teammates. They really kept me in it and kept me focused and ready for moments like this.
Was it frustrating early on after that happened to not see the minutes maybe that you were hoping, or what was that process like after that, deciding to pull it?
It was real up and down, but I have great supporting staff around here, great friends, great coaching staff, and so I was ready for whatever decision I made.
How have you been able to do this the last 2 games, having not played much all season?
Stay ready, stay in everything, practices, games, and just really pay attention and listen to the coaches.
Take me through that and one triple on Marcus.
Cam passed me the ball in the corner, and I knew I was getting that shot up once he passed that, and felt good, and I went in.
What was, I guess, how much did playing last week help your confidence heading into this?
You have no idea, man. I mean, it really changed everything for me mentally, but it was also the people around me that really helped my confidence, and they boosted me up.
Who've been the biggest guys that helped bring you along or keep your confidence up?
I mean, all the coaches really, Frazier really kept me in it, and it's different people at different times. I mean, my roommate Levi, he's the one that I talk to the most, I guess, so I can say him.
Types of things that they told you that you can recall that stick out.
I mean, I don't really know specifically. It's just like everyday little things every day that add up and keep me into everything.
2 weeks ago, Coach said he felt bad for you that you earned your red shirt. At that time, I mean, to go from that to this, what are your emotions?
I mean, I know he felt bad for me, but I knew it was for the best. And I was able to get in early, and I'm able to help the team now, so I really know that it is for the best, and it was all in God's plan.
Was there even a question in your mind when you saw Kamau get hurt early in the season that you had to come in and play?
At first, I didn't really think about it, but when they said it was, when they called upon me, I didn't really have much doubt in my mind. I knew I wanted to play because, I mean, this is something I've been doing all my life, and I really wanted to get on the court.
Do you feel like you've solidified a role on this team to have minutes throughout?
I mean, it's not really about that to me. If they want me to come in however many minutes in what game and they ask me to do different things, different games, I'm going to do it just to try to help the team win.
How good does it feel to win this game and be moving on?
I mean, it's a dream come true. I mean, it's something I've been thinking about all my life, and it's happening now.
Coaches described your game as kind of fearless, maybe a little cocky. Has that kind of always been the way you played?
Yeah, I feel fearless, but I wouldn't say cocky. I'm confident. I believe in my abilities, but yeah, I guess that's a good way to describe me.
No one really gave us a chance to win that game.
Coming in from Connecticut, what was the hardest adjustment you had to make? Connecticut to Manhattan.
Played a great game.
I mean, there was a lot. I mean, the weather, obviously. That's always something. The summer was crazy. But adjustment, it was the sort of time demands. I mean, in high school, it wasn't as strict, being everywhere. But here, you got to be everywhere at a certain time. And it's good. It's structure. It's structure that I needed.
To do this, does it feel surreal, or is this something you envision yourself being able to do if you do?
Honestly, it was something that like as a player I always hoped about, and like it was always in my mind that this could happen, but it wasn't something that I really thought was going to happen for sure.
So coming to the Big 12 tournament, what would you say, like at that point, what would you envision your ceiling being for the rest of the season, just individually?
Honestly, I didn't really see that they needed me much on the court, but I was fine with it because we were doing well. We were in the tournament and whatnot, so I was fine with it. I just wanted to win.
Come out today, looked like his own self. What did you like best about him?
I mean, that's my brother. We knew that we were going to get that out of him, and he's a big moment type of player, and I mean, it wasn't much of a surprise to me.
I'm a big believer that
Did the last couple of days being on the court help him out in practice?
Yeah, I mean, he's just getting back in the flow of things, and I think we could start expecting this out of him. We just needed to see one game. We just need to see him get back in the flow.
You know, it's a big win. You know, we haven't been out of the first round in I don't know how long, but you know, just getting out of that, getting that monkey off our back is huge for our program, and you know, but we're not satisfied with just that. We're trying to get a nice run here going. So it feels good, but we got to keep grinding.
Any chances for you to play the next game?
I hope so. I don't know. We'll talk about it and we'll see how it goes. But I'm not sure. I'm so proud of these guys. They played great tonight. Defensively, they were focused, locked in, flying around. You know, doing a great job on one of a very high-scoring team. And you know, offensively, we came down and executed when we needed to, and you know, got the scores when we needed to. So it was a great fun game to watch.
What do you think of Mike when he hit that hand-one triple and then stared down Marcus? I thought that was really good.
You know, Mike.
Bro, I definitely tried to get him.
Mike, you know, I was so hyped up for him, man. I'm so happy for the guy. But you know, that was an awesome play, a great play by him, great shot. And you know, they fouled him, and I was just like, you know, it had to be Mike tonight. It had to be Mike. And so Mike, I mean, he played amazing. I mean, hopefully he can keep that rolling into the next game. But you know, I'm so proud of him. He played great.
You notice something different than what we would have ever expected?
Yeah. The Dogs are rolling into round 2 to play Kansas State on Sunday.
The Dogs versus the Cats is what you're telling me?
It's Cats and Dogs like we predicted. You know, we had a video here earlier. We told you that history was being made out there. Absolutely expected this the entire time. Just credit to Flanders myself for calling UMBC, getting past Virginia. I criticized Virginia's defense for not being very good on the last video that started this out. So just proud of us on our analysis. Really nailed this one.
But for real, we're going to have so much more on this Retrievers team. I mean, incredible that they were able to pull this out against a really, really good defensive team in Virginia, but they couldn't miss.
No, I mean, really, really impressive effort. Like I said, we do want to get into it. We'll be very serious about this matchup on K-StateOnline for the next, couple of days. Couple of really, really quick guards who are going to be a tough matchup for K-State, but they couldn't miss tonight. You hate to overstate things or use hyperbole or that kind of stuff, but it may have been, one of, if not the biggest upset in sports history. 135-0, the ones were against the 16s, and we just watched one go down, and it wasn't close. 74-54. UMBC cruised in this one. Never, I mean, you hate to say never in doubt, but watching it in person, I'm rambling now because it's amazing, but watching it in person, I never felt like Virginia was going to get back in it. I mean, once they got down big, it just didn't feel that way.
Yeah, so we witnessed history, and make sure tomorrow you catch this team taking on the Cats and catch all of the coverage that KSO's coming with this one, because it'll be fun to see if K-State can move on to the Sweet 16.
You seem rattled.
I am, but you know what? We had fun today, and we're excited to keep having fun the rest of this tournament.
Tell your dog friends.